It's always fascinating to me that you write this song, you know, just as a self-expression, and then someone else hears it, even without the story. As I've always felt like without the story, the song's not as good. But you didn't even know the story. It's amazing. Well, I'll tell you this story. It's a good one. My friend Jack, he's a singer-songwriter, incredible guitar player. And in Australia in the 80s and 90s, he was quite famous. He sang in this band that was not like a boy band, but they were like, you know, all chiseled, Vogue, handsome fellas. And so he's kind of, you know, had these love songs, and he's a pretty handsome fella, I think anyway. And, but he's not a Christian. And I was dating this girl who was like a film star in Australia, and I never even hugged her, let alone kissed her. We went on like 8 dates. And I just never even, like I didn't even hug her. I was just like, no, I'll hold. And so when Jack met her and married her, I was the guy he trusted, because he was like, well, she's hot. Paul goes over, he's not gay, and he went out on 9 dates with her and never touched her. So he kind of just like, well, I like that guy. We became friends, and all we ever talked about was religion and God and spirituality, and yet he was not a Christian guy. And incredible musician. So this story of this song takes place when I asked him to come on the road with my band and be our guitar player for a tour. And Jack's favourite word in the English language is the F-bomb. That is his favourite word. He says it more times than anyone I've ever heard in my life. Call me a backslider, I don't hear it anymore. I just hear what he's saying. I know I'm a weird Christian, but cussing doesn't offend me. My sin offends me much more than cussing. My self-righteousness is much more of a stench in my nostrils than someone else saying a word. I'm like, you know what, that's just me, so that's not a value judgment on anyone, but I'm more offended by the judging of cussing than I am of the cussing. Maybe that's weird. Don't send me an email. I'm getting therapy, it's okay. So when we were driving to a show, and this was about the 4th show, and Jack had started to kind of get caught up in the Jesus stuff. And so he was like weeping on stage during some of these songs that were really about deep spiritual things. But then he was adding the God language with the cuss words, and it's just not normal for us to hear that. And I didn't think about what was going to happen. So we're in this van, and we're heading to a show, and these 2 guys are driving us there, friends of mine, Pentecostal pastors. I love all denominations. To me, it's like ice cream, you know, pistachio, chocolate, strawberry. It's all ice cream. I don't really care. They taste different. They look different. I'm like, you raise your hands, you don't. You read a book, you don't. Whatever. I don't care. It's ice. I like ice cream. What can I say? So when I didn't think, we were driving, and Jack's in the back seat going, you know, oh man, that effing song we sang last night about the cross, that effing moved me, man. I was crying. And this guy's in front of like, and I was sitting there going, oh, this is awkward. Yeah. And because I just didn't think about it. I wasn't sure if I should have warned him or warned them or sanitised the situation. So I'm sitting in the middle of the minivan just going, oh, what am I going to do? So at one point, I'd given Jack this CD for his birthday, and it was one of his favourite bands. And he said, can I put my CD on? And the guys at the front were like, they were thinking, anything we can do to shut this guy up. Let's just play it. And I knew the song, this first song had a cuss word in it. And it was repeated many times. And I tried to grab the CD as it went past, and I didn't. And they threw it on, and I'm counting down to the chorus. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is full on cuss word in the chorus that the guy just repeats like. And so these guys rip it out, and they start to give him like a lecture on holiness. And I'm trying to get a word in, like, we just invited, and I couldn't get a word in. And Jack kind of got quieter and quieter. So when we got to the venue, he was like, man, I'll see you in the dressing room in a few minutes. I'm like, get out. Shut the door. And I said to the pastors, everything all right? And they kind of expressed their discomfort and annoyance. And I just said, look, I'm sorry. He's not a Christian. I don't know why you would assume that just because someone's with me that they're a Christian. Like, what? I've got lots of friends. Why would you assume that? Anyway, they're like I said, to their credit, they apologised and whatever else. But so then I came back to Nashville and I was really worried